Hi, Noel. Hello, everyone on
Hi.
Facebook.
Hey, Alvin. Happy Monday.
Happy
Happy
Monday.
happy 25th episode. That's insane.
I think just now on Instagram, we were just saying that we are streaming on two plays. And it's when you mentioned that, I straight away think of week one, how we were struggling. Should we do it on Instagram? Should we do it on Facebook? We even spent like hours and even invested some money into exploring application to combine them together. In the end, here we are streaming on two devices, on our phone on Instagram and on Facebook. How fascinating that we grow.
Yeah, we have a bit of we have a. If you were to see our setup, it's actually pretty straightforward. But we found something that works, and what matters is that if you can see us clearly, if you can ask your questions, we don't miss your questions, then it works. All right. So that's right. So Alvin said we're in episode 25. We are in episode 25. How many months is that? That's like 6+ months of
6
doing
months, 1 week.
this. 6 months and 1 week of doing this every week without fail. We never postponed a single week. I think there was 1 week where we may have had it on a different day.
Tuesday.
I think
right.
there was once.
Yes.
But we're generally just on Monday night. So thank you to all of y'all tuning in right now on Instagram, on Facebook. Some of y'all have been. I know I say this every time, but I say it because it's true. Some of y'all have been here from the very first episode, and that's really, really awesome. To have your support. I feel like we're all like friends now, although we may not have seen you face to face. So that's really nice to see y'all consistently showing up. But what's most important is this is a weekly Q&A. So our purpose of being here is actually to answer your questions. So I need you to, if you're on Instagram right now, click on that little question mark icon that you see at the bottom and ask away. All right, we'll answer your questions. We have a whole hour tonight to talk to you, to talk about your questions and to answer your questions. Also, a little bit of an icebreaker. I just want to put it out there. Alvin and I are always curious to know, where are you right now? You're watching this. Where are you tuning in from? So whether you're on Facebook or on Instagram, just head over to the comments below and type in where are you tuning in from. And number 2 is, what is the last thing you ate? So for example, I would type and say, I'm from Kuala Lumpur, and the last thing I ate was stir-fried cauliflower in an Indian spice dish. All right, so that's actually, I should just say what it is. Have you heard of aloo gobi, Elvin?
No.
No, you haven't, right? So it's an Indian dish. It's just potatoes and cauliflower and spices. So that's the last thing I had as part of dinner. So everyone watching this, type in below, where are you tuning in from, and what's the last thing that you ate? What's the last thing you ate, Elvin?
I had some fruits. I haven't had my dinner yet, so I just came back. I had some fruits and then straight away set up. So I'm going to look forward to dinner. And the reason why we're asking where are you tuning in, because we know some of you are tuning in from other countries. We have friends and fitness colleagues all the way in the US. So right now it's their morning. Some of them are getting up. And we have friends also from India, Singapore. We set the same time zone all over the world. So we want to know.
Welcome.
Iswan on Instagram said last thing he had was durian.
That's right. So everyone's eating durian right now. It's durian season. So Iswan had his durian. Mong Peng is saying she's from Subang Jaya and she binge eat on chocolate chips. You're meaning the chocolate chip cookies, right, Mong Peng? And I mean, how many did you have? Okay. That's not the question. The question is, what's the last thing you ate? All right. So great. So keep those comments coming. It's so cool, right, to see. Number 1 is, where are we tuning in from, and also what are we eating? It gets more and more interesting. Penny's from Penang, and she had a home cooked poke bowl. Wow, homemade poke bowl. It's a lot of effort put in there, and then it's cooking your own food is always a good investment, good use of your time. Thank you for sharing, Penny. Anyone on Facebook, you want to let us know what's the last thing that you ate? Otherwise, I'm going to let Elvin tell you about today's show. We have, as always, we've planned a few things for you all. I can't wait to show you a couple of things. I think you'll all be quite impressed today.
Yeah.
Quite impressed.
Yes. Non-food related. Oops, I put the teaser there first.
That's right.
Okay, so for those of you who are watching on Facebook, I invite you to please tag 2 friends you know can benefit from being on this show, or at least watching, or perhaps asking questions. So on the comment on Facebook, just tag them in and they'll get notification of the Facebook Live. So everyone on Facebook and Instagram, Noel and I welcome you to episode 25 of questions you may be too shy to ask your trainer. So Noel and I are here every Monday, 9 p.m. on Facebook and on Instagram. Today's episode, we have segments consists of Discovery of the Week, Question and Answer, Show and Tell, and lastly, Gifts. So if you ask questions, we're going to give you gifts of daily muscle classes or Elvin Netto's courses. You get to choose. You just have to DM us. So let's dive into our first segment of Discovery of the Week. This is something Noel and I discover or rediscover over the past 7 days. So Noel, what is your discovery of the week?
First? Okay, great.
Go
Awesome.
for it, Noel.
So this is our segment. We're calling it Discovery of the Week. And what have I discovered this week? Da-da-da. Should have a drum roll thing. I'm sure one day we could fix that. So my discovery of the week, and probably lots of people are going to watch this and go like, oh yeah, now only you know. Okay, yeah, true. Now only I know. It's my discovery. Is I've realized that gardening can actually make you very happy. Gardening means, we know what gardening is, right? Like taking care of plants. And so I've never been someone who would do that. I would just get someone to cut the grass and the grass cutter trims the plants and does everything. And I would never get hands-on with that. But during this current so-called lockdown situation here, it made me realize that, look, I can do this and it's an opportunity for me to get more movement in throughout my day. So I started by cutting the grass. That's how it started. Cut the grass. And then when I cut the grass, I realized that I want to make sure everything else is nice. And so I made sure the pots were fine. There were some plants that weren't growing too well. I took them out. I dug them out and I planted them onto the ground. And I was learning all these things. And I would go. And so my discovery is that it's actually very stress relieving. It is, and it's I'm happy. I open the curtains and I look forward, as in like, hey, how's my garden doing? And the garden's been there for 5 years, and I never bothered about it, right? And here it is. So it's making me happy. And my most exciting thing, really, which is what I want to share with you today, is that I decided to take it one step further and plant something, not just take something out from the pot. So I went and got these sunflower seeds. If you're watching this on Facebook right now, Alvin's going to show you. Is there any way I can show it to you all on Instagram? I might be able to, if I change the filter, I'm gonna mess this up. Okay. Anyway, it's on the Facebook feed, or you would see it on my IG story because I posted it. I said it's day 3, and I planted these sunflower seeds. You see that? And who knew that you could grow sunflowers in Malaysia? Did you know that, Alvin?
No.
See, you didn't know, right?
Today.
Learning it today. So and I was like, what? I can grow sunflowers? And I was imagining the garden. So I bought it, and then I got some earth. You got to buy I bought proper earth to plant the seedlings. And in 3 days, it started to sprout. So that photo that you're seeing on Facebook right now is this. It's like day 2, there was nothing. There was nothing there yesterday. This morning, one little green thing. By evening, I counted there were like 10. Here's the best part. I forgot how many seeds I planted. All I know is that I spaced them out, to get, and the goal is to let it grow a little bit, and then I'm going to transfer it to my garden. Now, I don't know how many times it's going to flower. I hope it's not just once and then it dies. It shouldn't, right? I hope to grow a little sunflower patch or a bush or whatever it's going to look like. I don't really even know what the end result is. I know it's going to hopefully bloom into some sunflowers. So that's my goal. And I wanted to share that. It's just very, very, it just made me happy to know that I could plant something and it's alive. I didn't kill it and it's growing and there's excitement, and I look forward to what's it going to look like tomorrow, right? And I wanted to share that. Yes, I discovered that you can grow sunflowers, but I also discovered that it makes me happy. It makes me happy. And I think anything that can make you happy right now is a good thing to spend your time on and your energy on. because you can choose to focus on all those things that are not making you happy. So to me, it was a huge thing just to find something new, something super affordable. Those seeds cost 5 ringgit, and there's like a lot. There's like at least 20, 30 seeds inside that packet, and the And if any of y'all are like into gardening and planting stuff, I'd love to hear your stories as well. Maybe show me your plants, and I'd really love to see it. So that is my thingy, my discovery of the week.
Yes, before we move into my discovery of the week, I invite all of you who are on Facebook and Instagram to comment what flower is your favorite flower and what flower you want Noel to plant next, okay? Noel got a big garden. He's going to plant everything, okay?
That's true.
I'm
Should plant
gonna
some
put a
vegetables.
Yes. Noel, I sense some interruptions on your Facebook page.
Try that. Oh, there you go. I'm back.
So my discovery of the week is actually an Instagram post by Josephine C. So Josephine actually was one of our guests that came on our show, if you remember her. And she posted about how she's been really active on social media, doing a lot of posting, but she's not seeing the results. She realized that Instagram is constantly changing, the algorithm is changing, and she can't pick it up. And she feels that her time spent on those posting is going to waste. So when I read that post, it hits me that, hey, I can relate to that. And I like it because I believe most of us can relate to that. As a personal trainer, I spend hours designing training programs for clients. However, some of them show little commitment. Or perhaps in work, some of us do a lot of things behind the scene, but our supervisor and boss don't really acknowledge all of our effort. Or perhaps in fitness, we are making healthy changes, wanting to lose weight or be healthier and fitter, but no results yet in the first few weeks or months. So when I read Josephine's post, and it hits me that the most important thing is to always focus on our purpose. So seeing Josephine post invited me to reflect back on my purpose. The reason, like, Alvin, why are you spending hours designing clients' program? It's because it makes me a better personal trainer. Why are we doing behind the scene work? You know, we can just spend half an hour and get it done, give it to our boss, but you are taking extra step, doing extra thing. Well, it's because it makes you a better employee, a better manager, a better person, a leader. And same thing in fitness. We can choose the shortcut, 6 weeks to that, 10 weeks to this, supplements, diet. But no, we are giving our best with every habit, with our workouts, with our nutrition, making it last. So seeing that post, oftentimes in life, I want quick results, whether is it my fitness or my business, but it's not going to work that way. Life don't gives you what you want. So it reminds me to focus on my journey, and that it is the journey that matters. It's not a race. So Josephine, if you're watching this, forget about Facebook algorithm. I want you to know that continue posting, because people who follow you, people who see your post is going to benefit from it. And when I first started posting on Facebook, I only had few views, and that's from my friends and family, but I keep going and it builds up over time. And in anything that we do in life, as long as we consistently building and improving, it will have like a snowball effect. The snowball started small, but it keep rolling and rolling and rolling. Oh, it's going to be something big. Okay. So that is my discovery of the week, which is seeing Josephine Instagram posts.
And if I were to just say, it matters whatever you post. Anyone listening to this, it matters to the people who are watching, the people who are listening. Like we don't. So good thing that you pointed out there, Alvin. It's so true. I think sometimes we forget because we look at others and we tend to compare, and it is not a race. Absolutely, you said it so well. Awesome. Wow, that's some deep sharing.
So next segment, we move into question and answer. We invite you to post your question on the comment section. If you're watching it on Instagram, the little question mark with a circle sign in that, post it there so that Noel able to pin that up onto our screen. So our
We do
first
have a question actually. Can we just
Mhm.
take this, the one from Instagram?
Let's do Instagram, Noel.
Okay. This question comes from Adiba. What Adiba's asking is, do artificial sweeteners and natural sweeteners help with weight loss? That's really what she's asking. And my answer to that is very, very straightforward. Actually, the answer is yes, it helps, especially if you're someone who has a sweet tooth. You need to have sugar in your coffee. You need to have sweetness. If that's you, then it's going to help because you have a lower calorie option whenever you want to consume a drink, for example. Because not everyone can consume black coffee that with nothing inside. And maybe eventually you will get there. And if you are someone who's just eating a lot of sugared foods, like majority, so sweeteners can be a tool, and there are artificial sweeteners, there are natural sweeteners. I believe they both work. And of course, if you look at the research, at the end of the day, if weight loss is your goal, what matters is the caloric deficit. And using sweeteners, whether artificial, helps cut the calories. So it helps get you closer to your weight loss goal. Now, some people may argue and say, oh, but artificial sweeteners are bad for you. It causes cancer and this and that. That's a whole different story. I believe there's no research that proves any of that. It's actually super safe. But if something's artificial and there's a natural version, why not go for the natural option instead? Also, like for example, people like to ask me like, so how many cans of there's all these beverages that are artificially sweetened. You have Coke Zero, you have Pepsi Max. There's a whole bunch of other drinks artificially sweetened. So is it okay? People like to ask me, is it okay to drink a Coke Zero? I thought it's bad. I seems like it is okay. If you want to have every few days, you want to have a Coke Zero, go ahead and have it. If you're having like 5 Coke Zeros every day, that's a different problem altogether. It's not an artificial sweetener problem, it's a different issue, right?
So I'm just going to add on another point that Noel is sharing is that Noel just skip out for a bit on Instagram. Noel is sharing is that when we are doing or looking towards weight loss, one thing we want to focus on eating in moderation. So whether is it in this case natural or artificial sweetener, incorporate moderation, planning it in terms of portion and how frequent are you going to have it throughout your day, throughout the week is key important. One thing I never, or I would say I won't advise clients is to totally cut it off, because when you cut it off and you take away something, the chances are higher that you want it more. So eat in moderation is the most effective and sustainable practice of how you approach, be it artificial sweetener, anything. It could be your favorite food, like mine is pizza. Pizza in moderation in your nutrition, training, and lifestyle.
That's it, great. I hope that helped answer the question. Did the music come from me, Alvin?
The music is coming from me. So those of you, we are setting up Instagram again.
That's right. I think that just got kicked out of Instagram, so I'm just setting that back up again. So excuse me while I'm a little distracted, but Alvin can carry on with the rest of the show.
So for those of you who are tuning in on Facebook, I invite you to comment any questions and we will pin it up and answer. I'm going to move next to the next question. So this was given to us last week by MHA006. And it says, how to lose belly fat effectively without torturing yourself. In order for us to lose belly fat or fat overall, we need to be in a calorie deficit. A calorie deficit is where our output is more than our input. Output is calorie coming in. Input is calories coming in. My apologies. Output is calories going out. So that is going to create a calorie deficit. And the best way how we approach that is through healthy habits, such as walking more steps, increasing your physical activity on a daily basis. That's an output. And controlling your food options, controlling calories. That is an input. Okay, we all know how to lose fat. Now, how to do it without torturing yourself is to make the whole process enjoyable. So you want to pick up habits, tricks, strategies that works in your lifestyle and make it enjoyable to you. And this could be different for everyone. I've trained so many clients. Every client like and dislike different things. For example, when it comes to burning more calories, in terms of workout, not everyone likes to walk or run. So perhaps some clients, I'll say, I like you to increase your output by doing more cycling, by swimming, by playing badminton. So I find that works. So you have to identify what works for you. When you can make it enjoyable, the chances are you're going to sustain it without torturing yourself. And lastly, I also want to invite that, think of it like it's a journey, not a race. When we are heading towards our weight loss and fat loss goal, you want to think of it, how can I get better throughout my journey? And if you can get 1% better each week or perhaps each month, you are moving ahead in your journey. And that 1% could be a little bit improvement. For example, sleep. Like right now, you realize that, okay, my one habit that's going to propel me towards my weight loss is sleep. I'm going to sleep longer. I'm going to sleep earlier. I'm going to have better quality sleep. And you make that your goal for the week, for the month. And when you can achieve that, you keep moving forward in getting 1% better. Okay, embrace the journey, and you won't find yourself torturing yourself in your fitness journey.
Great, Alvin.
I hope that makes sense.
It is great. Thank you for taking that question as well. And I'm back on Instagram. I'm not sure what happened. I think it's just all over the place. You see, I keep like flashing in and out of even on Facebook. So to everybody watching this, I apologize if I just disappear again. It's we're trying our best that this doesn't happen. But sometimes if it happens, then it's out of my control. But it seems okay now. It seems okay now. So I invite you to post your questions. You see the little question mark icon there. Earlier, Adiba, I hope I answered your question. Comment the little question mark, and we will be able to answer it throughout the show. We have a few other segments coming up. We have more questions coming in. Some of you will send in questions through the week and earlier today, so we will also be answering those questions. But we would love to have any other questions that are by you guys here. Adiba saying that she couldn't really listen to the answer. I'm not sure, maybe you weren't here, Adiba, so you'll be able to catch it when you watch the replay. All right, awesome.
Okay,
Am
I'm
I
going to
allowed
take
to-
one question.
Okay.
Yes, you are all clear, Noel. I'm going to take one question from Facebook, and then we see if there's any on Instagram, okay? So the question here is low-fat product a healthier option at supermarket? Is low-fat product a healthier option? I think this is a very interesting topic because we associate low-fat as healthier, full cream as higher calories or not so healthy. So the product labeled as low-fat food often have their natural fat removed or reduced. A great example here is yogurt, and Noel talked about yogurt last week. Now, in order for food manufacturer to have low fat, they need to have less than 3 grams of fat per 100 grams of the particular food or beverage. So if it's 100 gram of Greek yogurt, in order to call it low fat, that 100 grams need to have less than 3 grams. Then they can call it low fat yogurt. And in terms of drinks, it needs to be 1.5 gram per 100 gram of drink. So it could be a low fat smoothie. In order to brand it low fat, the food manufacturer need to reduce the fat. So what happens when they reduce the fat, they need to compromise the taste of the product. So that's where they usually fill with sugar or adiba, artificial sweetener, to bring up the taste of all these low fat products. Because when you remove fat from a product, it tastes funny, it tastes tasteless. Therefore, all these food manufacturers add stuff in. So while it may market as low fat, helps you to reduce calories. So if you look at the nutrition label, the calories is actually the same because the fat content is low, but the carbohydrate, the carbs content is higher due to increment of sugar. So if you take a look at total sugar, it's actually higher. And perhaps if you look at some of the ingredient list, you may notice that sugar are actually the top 3 or 5 in the ingredient list. So you want to be really, really mindful of this. Not all low-fat products or food are healthy. So you want to look at the overall.
Yep. Perfect. I have nothing to add to that.
I can see I see Sharon posting a shocking face in it because we often associate low-fat as healthy, and it is not. It is not.
Low fat is low taste. I'll tell you that.
But when I go for my yogurt and milk, I usually go for full because the calorie is plus minus the same or slightly higher, but you get the full cream or full flavor of the yogurt. Do we have any questions on Instagram, Noel? Now I'm going to hop on to our most interesting segment.
Yes, let's move on. There are a couple of questions coming in, but we will move on to your segment first, and then we will come back to the questions. So my friends on Instagram, keep those little question mark icon that you see. That way we will not miss your question, and we can pull it up later for everyone to review. Okay, over to you, Alvin.
Our next segment is Show and Tell, where we show you something and we tell you a behind the scene or story about a product. I'm going to take this first and then I'll pass to you, Noel. My
Sure.
Show and Tell today is a watch. Okay. I got this watch at the age of 19. This is my first watch that I purchased myself and the first watch that I actually wear at the age of 19. When I was growing up, I didn't like watches. I didn't like something gripping on my wrist. But as I grow older, I realized it's so important to have a watch to track time. So I bought a first watch. I got this shipped from Singapore, Decathlon. And the value of this is 13 ringgit. 13 ringgit. And I wear this throughout until about last year. I just switched watch because this was given to me and I wanted to track heart rate. Now, the story behind this watch is I would keep this watch as long as I can, even though it's without battery, because this watch reminds me of my roots, reminds me of where I began. Because when I first bought this watch, it was something that I could just afford at that time, 30 ringgit for a watch, and I need it, it served its purpose. And I use it when I go to college, this watch. When I become a personal trainer, this watch. And in fact, when I run backwards for 12 hours, it was this watch that accompanied me for the whole 12 hours, just telling me time, no heart rate, no as such. So this watch reminds me that, Alvin, you don't need fancy thing to propel forward to success. You need to remember where you come from. You need to remember the little things of how you begin with. And as you move forward, never forget your roots, or my humble beginning. And it is this watch that I will hold on to remind me that you can even do wonder things and break records with just a simple watch. So in our life, I believe we all have something that we can remember, perhaps a picture, an item. Sometimes it's good to reflect on it and remember where we were before, because those memories is going to push you forwards in times where you really, really need it. So when I think of show and tell, I look at this watch and I think of how I wore this watch, and people are wondering, like, Alvin, why your watch so cheap? Why your watch so simple? Simple as it looks, but it carry very rich, deep meaning for me. So I'm sharing that with you.
Wow. And how many years ago was this when you first bought it?
From
Roughly?
this year, it will be 10 years.
And
10
so
years.
back then there was no Decathlon in Malaysia, but there was a Decathlon in Singapore,
Yes.
and you bought it
Yes.
from there. And the watch still works, right?
It dies off about 2 years ago.
Right. Okay. It probably just needs a new battery or something, and it'll be fine.
Yes. It still works. 13 ringgit. That's all we need.
Watch for 13 ringgit. Great.
All
Awesome.
right,
Thank you
Noel.
for sharing. So now over to me. My show and tell is I actually mentioned it in a couple of shows ago where I was trying to cut down on my coffee intake. I still occasionally take coffee, but generally I'm drinking a lot more tea now. Why? No real reason. Actually, just exploring to see the annoying to brew tea because I didn't have the proper apparatus. I would have a pot. I would use a coffee pot to brew my tea, right? And it's different. And you need, in the tea, you need a strainer. You need to soak it. So I didn't really have all of those. So I would take the normal strainer that I cook stuff with, and I'll pour the tea leaves in. It was a big mess. It still made tea, and it's still fine. But I bought a tea maker. It's not one of those fancy electronic ones, but this is made out of let me see, Facebook friends, can you see it? It's see-through, it's transparent. There you go. All right, I'm just gonna make sure, let me see, make sure both of y'all can see it. Okay, so it's in front of me, so my green screen does it. That's just a warning label to say that it's hot. And what you do is there's a filter in there, so I don't have to worry about the sieve, and all I have to do is just to open this, pour the hot water inside. Okay, we put the tea leaves in first. And instead of waiting for it to brew, I take this with me. So I take it up to my room, I on the computer, and when it's like about 5 minutes, which is time for my tea to brew, I just have to take this and I don't have a mug with me, but when I put this on top of the mug, it automatically, can you see, it kind of like depresses, and the moment I rest it on top of the mug, the tea starts to pour out, and it automatically filters the leaves, and it just again. Oh no, but I'm still streaming on Facebook. Okay, so the tea comes out, it makes life easy, and I don't have to worry about cleaning the leaves. I just have to go and pour it out and fix it later. So this is my little sharing. It's called a tea maker. There's various models, but it's no electricity required. Don't have to boil anything. I boil the water separately and I pour it in here. So that's what I when the video goes off at least, or do you lose my audio as well?
Oh, we are here, Noel. It just stopped for a bit. Well, all good. Very interesting show and tell. So when you press down, the whole tea will flow down into your mug.
That's right. It just, the tea flows down in a very controlled rate. It doesn't just splash in, but it's very controlled, and I can see that it's filling up. And the moment I lift it, it's So if I only want to pour in half, I can stop it halfway and then lift it off. So, and it's good enough for a really big mug. So it's it, simple. It's very simple yet very effective, and just makes life a lot easier. It's fun actually. It makes drinking tea a bit more fun. Yeah.
I have a question for you, Noel. When you drink tea, do you use the same tea leaf or tea bag for second round? Do you add water back in? Although
so what
I know
I do,
it can be a
correct. So what I do is I haven't been using tea bags. I've just been using the loose leaves. And yes, you can actually brew it for one more time. It's actually good for one more use. So what I'll do is after I finish it, and then I go and pour hot water again, but then I leave it and I don't drink another cup of tea, but I leave it. And at the end of the day, I have another cup of tea. And this one I don't usually drink. So the second batch that I brew, I usually it cools down and then I put it in a container and then I put it in the refrigerator. And so it becomes iced tea instead, which I can drink at any other time. That's what I do with that.
Would you like me to host the IG Live, Noel?
Yeah, you want to try that? You want to try that?
Let me try. So for those of you on Facebook, so for those of you who are watching on Facebook, we're also resetting on Instagram because we have some questions from there. If you have any questions on Facebook, I invite you to post your questions, be it about nutrition, training, fitness, or perhaps business. Do post your question in the comment box below. I'll pin it up and Noel and I are gladly to answer all of those questions. If it's something that we can't answer or we don't know, we'll try our best to find a solution or pin you to someone who might be able to assist you. Hi, everyone on Instagram. Welcome back. I am going to accept.
Everyone's going to see my get to see my green screen, the two guys behind the green screen. Let me see if I can fix my background. Can I change it? No, probably
I think for
not.
someone who joined in would not have that features.
Right, interesting. I always thought that allow me to select the filter, but it was not able to do that.
Yeah, so that's why you see me green always at the bottom.
Yeah. I just thought that maybe there was a way that it's okay. I'm trying to cut your volume on my phone because there seems to be an echo.
Those of you who are watching on Instagram and on Facebook, thank you all so much for your patience. We're going to move on to our next segment, which is question and answer part 2. So we have a question here on Facebook, and then we're going to look through any questions on Instagram.
Yeah.
So the questions here, I am required to go back to work and worry I won't be able to eat as well. Make a lot of progress during work from home. Any advice? So this person is asking, he make a lot of progress by training at home right now, being work from home, and then perhaps right now he's going back to work. What advice do we have to maintain that gain? Do you want to take this first, Noel?
Yes, I can. I think the most important thing really is it's good that you have acknowledged that your situation is going to be different, right? And your routine from home and your routine when you go back to your workplace can be very different. I know people who are very successful when they're working out at home because everything is under control. They can watch their meals. They don't have to worry about their colleagues calling them up to the restaurant. Everything is, they are like in a safe environment. And when they go back to work, all hell breaks loose. Your colleague brings you donuts, your colleague brings you this, and it's like you put yourself in a difficult situation. So I think the main thing here is just to understand that, okay, it's going to be different, but what can you do to plan, to prepare, so that you can be in control of your eating habits. And it's going to take some, maybe there's some times where you're going to have to bring your own meals from home, because all this while things are working well for you at home. So how can you replicate that at your workplace? There's going to be some extra effort. Maybe last time before this whole pandemic, you just used to follow your colleagues to the restaurant or just order anything via delivery. But now that you are on a plan, you realize that things are better when you're eating, when you were working from home. Maybe you might need to pack some meals. Maybe you need to meal prep, and not every single meal, but maybe meal prep your lunch, or maybe just make sure that you have a good breakfast at home instead of just being defeated when you go back to work. All right. So yes, it's not going to be the same. Maybe you're not going to be able to eat as well compared to when you're working from home, but I'm sure you can plan, you can prepare, you can make some adjustments to your routine to make the most out of this new situation or your back to work situation. Can't compare exactly. You're not going to be able to have it 100% just like as it is from home, right? Things are different. Just accept that also. Don't be hard on yourself and beat yourself up over it. And blame yourself for like, oh, I now I can't do all the things I used to do. No, that's okay. It's you're not losing the battle. It's just that it's different now, and you're gonna work harder, and you're gonna plan. You're gonna bring meals. You're gonna make some adjustments, and you're gonna make the most out of your back to work situation. Okay. I hope you found that those points useful.
Yeah, I love that. I would just like to add on to that. In every journey, or perhaps in our fitness journey, we will have different phases. Like right now, it's a phase of working out at home. As we move to our next phase, which is going back to office, we're going to start a new routine. It will be a different phase. Phases will come and go, but how we live through our fitness journey, fitness lifestyle will have the same purpose, which is to be a better, fitter version of ourselves. And the method that we do will have to be flexible and be adaptable. When we can be flexible and adaptable with our methodology, you are going to achieve success no matter is it working from home, MCO 20.0, situation change, you don't change.
That's a good one. Yeah.
So our next question here, which is from Instagram, when is the best time to take creatine? I'm going to share
Yes, go ahead.
my input, and I'll pass to you, Nora.
Sure.
Creatine is a supplement that has been proven to successfully, or let me rephrase that, have been proven to improve strength and hypertrophy, which helps you to build more muscles. So the best time to take creatine is anytime throughout your day. A common practice is to take it with your protein shake. So as you mix your shake, you just add 5 grams. So 5 grams is about 1 teaspoon of creatine into your smoothie shake, and you blend it and drink it. If not, you can also add it into water. It's almost tasteless if you add it into water. Generally, we'll add it into shake to mask or to cover any. You feel like that, like you're drinking sand a little bit with 5 grams. Now, I know some people do creatine loading, where they take more than 5 grams, perhaps 20 grams, and they load their body or their system with higher amount of creatine for a period of time, for example, 2 to 4 weeks, and then they deload on that. They go back to 5 grams and then they load it up. This is very common practice among bodybuilders when they're trying to build more muscles at their peak period. So if you're an athlete or bodybuilder during your peak phase, you would generally take more creatine to boost more performance and hypertrophy effect. And then after, when you divert or when you deload down, you're going to reduce your creatine. So that's 2 ways you can take creatine. When is the best time? Any time of a day.
Yeah, I would just add that there's a lot of research that says that creatine also helps improve your brain function. I know people who take it for other benefits as well. And Alvin is absolutely right. The timing doesn't matter. I think there's a lot of confusion because creatine has been taken by people for years. It's not a new supplement. It's been around for a very long time. And you may have heard some people say, let's take it before. Some people say take it after. And there are some people who say take it anytime. So I believe that once your muscles are saturated with creatine already, the timing doesn't matter because you're really just kind of just keeping your creatine stores in your muscles there. So don't worry too much about the timing. Do what works for you. And I wanted to say this just now because I saw this question come from, I think his name is Total Fit or something like that.
Yes.
He's the one who asked the question. He asked me before I got disconnected. Then I came back on. He asked me again. And then I got disconnected. And then you came on and he asked you. So he was very determined to ask that question. Thank you for asking that question 3 times. And I'm glad we didn't miss it and we were able to answer that. So great. Awesome.
All right. Next question. I believe, Noel, you will love this. This is from Adiba. She asked, is it good to take supplements while losing weight? If yes, what supplement to take?
Great. Okay. This question, okay, it's a lot to unpack there. But so the question is really, if I can rephrase it, what Adiba's also asking is, should I take supplements to lose weight? And if yes, what supplements? That's really what the question is. And we've covered this many times because a lot of people are very curious about this. But supplements is basically something that you use to supplement. That means in addition to. So a supplement is not the main source of your nutrition. Supplement is meant to add on to your nutrition. So what is your main source of nutrition? Whatever you're already eating, your meals, your rice, your vegetables, your chicken, your all of those stuff. That is your main source of your nutrition. Whether weight loss is your goal or whether you are bulking up to build more muscle, your main source of nutrition does not need to come from supplements. Supplements can be handy if you are not able to consume enough protein, which is often the case, right? People don't like to eat so much of protein, especially bodybuilders. They want to consume a lot more protein than someone who just wants to work out and stay healthy. So it's hard to eat. Therefore, they go and get a protein shake. It's just convenience. They could totally eat it too, but it's just convenience. So look at supplements as a tool. And if you're someone who, let's say you don't have time to prepare a healthy breakfast, then you could look at a supplement, right? A protein powder, some vegetables, some fruit, whip it up in the smoothie, and that's your meal. So you're using supplements to help you come up with a healthy meal because you maybe don't have the time to fry 3 eggs and have it in the morning. So this is where supplements can become handy. It is a tool. Don't rely on supplements alone. I know there are people out there who 100% rely on supplements. And when they don't have the supplements, they feel like they can't eat healthy and they can't lose weight. And no, it's not that way. It's a useful tool. It's also expensive, right? So if you can just figure it out and just eat and get your food from real sources, real foods, you don't need to be spending all that money. And especially when it comes to weight loss, there's a lot of MLMs that sell shakes and programs and 3-month supplies, and you take this tablet, that tablet, they put it into a program for you, and it can be very expensive. It runs into thousands of ringgit. So weight loss doesn't have to be expensive. It can be if that's the path that you choose, and maybe that's the convenient way for you. And if that works, then okay, but it doesn't have to be. So that's what I would say to that. Anything you want to add on to that, Elvin, on supplements?
If I am able to take supplements, my top 3 choices would be number 1, whey protein powder. Number 2, a very good quality fish oil. And number 3 would be creatine, as I just shared just now, helps to improve performance and brain functions. whey proteins, good quality fish oil, and creatines. I invite those of you watching on Facebook and Instagram, share with me what are your top 3 supplements, or if you take any supplements, what supplements are there?
There's one more supplement, Alvin, that's very important. It's vitamin S. You know what
What is vitamin S?
Vitamin S is sleep. You gotta get enough sleep if you wanna. If fat loss is your goal. Sometimes we forget these little things that doesn't take money. You can't buy from the stores, but has a huge impact towards your fat loss. Drink enough water, get enough sleep. These are things that you want to look into as well. Yeah, vitamin S, sleep.
Yeah, I think Sharon on Facebook, what is vitamin S? And then when you answer that, she's like, oh, yes. We have a question here about online classes. The question is, I tried out online classes, but I couldn't keep up most of the time. What should I do? I'm going to pass this to Noel because you specialize, you're the expert in online classes.
My answer to this person would be, I think there's the thing about a class, right? When you join a class, there are other people there, so you may feel pressured. But at the end of the day, it's not a race, right? You can run your own race, do your own journey. So we run group classes, and sometimes we get new people coming in. We make sure that we prep them in advance and tell them that, look, it's your first class, take it easy, go at your own pace. So just remember that whatever class it is that you join and you felt that you couldn't keep up most of the time, number one, remember that that's okay. No one set a benchmark for you to achieve. I hope it's not your first day and they said that you have to do this, right? And you know, the cool thing about an online class is that you could just not do it. You're at home. No one's going to come there and yell at you in your face. That's another thing. So online classes are very easy to be a part of, and don't feel pressured that you have to keep up. Now, you're saying this because you're saying that you're trying online classes. So my guess is that you're trying something new. So no pressure. Now, of course, if you're an athlete, then that's a different story. But I don't think if you're an athlete, you're going to be struggling with online classes. If yes, then maybe it's just not the right class for you. Another thing I would say is to, at the same time, yes, I said take it at your own pace, but also to embrace the change a little bit. I think online classes take some getting used to. I speak to so many people who really just hesitate, and they say things like, it feels weird, you know, I miss the gym, I want a face-to-face interaction. Yes, I know, but we make the most out of what we have right now. So online classes are there. So it's going to take some getting used to, right? So to understand that, yes, sometimes your instructor may push you, your instructor may challenge you, or you may have joined a class where, oh, this is a bit harder than I thought, and that's okay. Because remember, you have the choice. You don't have to do it if you don't want to do it, right? And also remember that change happens when you put yourself in an uncomfortable situation. So if you're in an uncomfortable, okay, this class is getting a bit difficult. Okay, great. What's the worst that can happen? You're challenging yourself, right? You challenge yourself, you're gonna get stronger. That's how your muscles get stronger, your fitness improves. So I guess what I'm saying is that, yes, take it at your own pace, but at the same time, understand that you gotta push yourself also at the same time. Now, if this is your very first class and you couldn't keep up, that's okay. It's your first class. Give yourself a break. Don't be too hard on yourself. But if this is like your 20th class and you are still struggling, then maybe it's also not the right program for you, right? So the best person to ask is actually your coach or whoever's running that online class. Ask them if they could stay back after the class for a few minutes to chat with you, to tell them what your concerns are. Just because it's online doesn't mean everyone goes bye, and then that's it. You don't get to chat with them. I'm sure you can send them a message, email them, correspond with them, and ask them what they think as well. But that would be my suggestion for you. And I hope you found that useful.
And one thing I like about online classes is they have so many options. So if you find certain strength classes doesn't suit you, you have the option to try another classes with different variety, try another coach. And I believe these are stories or experience from my clients. As they try 2 or 3 different variety, they kind of find what suits them best. So that's perhaps something that we all can try with online classes. And I love that, Noel, when you share, ask your coach. Because when we join an online class, there's a lot of people, you feel like, oh, I'm nobody. I'm just going to come here and do what I can, and that's it. I believe online classes are like an experience. It's for you to go through the intro right up to the workout, right up to the warm down and the ending. It should be like a very smooth flow. And the coach is actually your best friend to guide you through. And I believe most coach are more than happy to answer all of your questions during or after. All you have to do is actually just reach out and ask. Like you said, send an email. All of them are on Instagram and on. So if the coach is doing online classes, they are on Instagram or at least Facebook. Send them a DM. I feel most coaches are very friendly and always willing to help and go the extra mile to guide you through, to make sure that your subsequent experience are better, making sure that you are doing what it's meant for you and you are doing it right. So that is really, really important. Don't be afraid to ask your coach.
Yeah, I don't know any trainer or coach who wouldn't help if you ask for help. It's they would. And if they don't help or they say, no, you're not going to help, and then you get another coach, but you're not going to come across someone like that. So yeah, so please ask. Because maybe your coach doesn't know. Your coach has no idea you're struggling. Maybe it can be more challenging sometimes in the whole online situation. And sometimes maybe, I don't even know whether you keep your camera on in your class, or if your coach may not be able to see you. They're just guessing that you're doing okay. So all the more it's important that you reach out and tell your coach that you're struggling to keep up and see what happens.
Speaking of reaching out, throughout my years as a personal trainer, I do get once in a while. Let me rephrase that. It does happen, but rarely. People will actually send me an email, attach of their movements in a video or in YouTube and say, Alvin, am I doing it correct? Not my clients, they don't pay me anything, but they take the effort to record themselves and send it to me. I'll be more than happy to reply, and I have replied. And it reminds me back when I was journeying into lifting weights, the time college time, 18, 19, doing whatever I see on YouTube and TV and magazines, bodybuilding, like Arnold Schwarzenegger. I remember also writing emails or in forum, bodybuilding.com forum, to people. Some will reply, some don't. But I believe that it is me reaching out and wanting to more and asking that I learn something out of it. I take it, I grow, I progress, and so on and so on. That leads me to where I am today. So I invite those of you who are lost, confused, demotivated, feel free to reach out to Noel or me, myself. We are more than happy to guide you through your next steps. We are closing in at 10 p.m. I invite any of you to share perhaps one question. We'll take one question. If not, we're going to move to our next segment, which is after party on Instagram.
So what that means is, if you're watching us on Facebook, we will officially end the show, but we stay back for a little while just to chit chat on Instagram, kind of informal. It doesn't get recorded. You can say what you want, and we had quite a few fun sessions the last few Mondays when we stayed back and had a chit chat. So we invite you that once we officially end in a few more minutes, to just head over to our Instagram. Any questions on Instagram?
There is no question on Instagram and on Facebook. Right. I'm going to wrap this up by saying thank you all so much for your time and attention and questions. Noel and I appreciate you very, very much. Remember to check the Facebook Live, which stays on our Facebook profile. You can look for Noel or Alvin on Facebook. Follow us. You will get instant notification when we go live next Monday. If you have a questions throughout the week, feel free to DM us or send us a private message on Facebook, and then we're going to pin it up for next week. For those of you who are on Facebook, Noel and I are going to hop over to Instagram. This is our Instagram handle. We'll see you on Instagram for after party.
Yeah. Awesome. So goodbye, Facebook. See you on Instagram. Bye.
Bye, Facebook.